Ceylonese recipients of British titles conferred on the advice of Her Majesty's Ceylon ministers. This list includes all those who were born in, worked in or lived in Ceylon. 19th century. 1890s equals 1891 equals Knight Bachelor. 1891 Charles Henry du Saussure, J.P. Industrialist and philanthropist equals 1892 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1892 Peter Daniel Antonisch, an unofficial member of the Legislative Council of the Island of Ceylon, equals 1897 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George. Knight Commander. KCMG. 1897 Frederick Richard Saunders CMG, Treasurer of the Island of Ceylon. 20th century. 1900s equals 1901 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1901 Francis Alfred Cooper, ESQ, Director of Public Works of the Island of Ceylon. 1901 Charles Edward Duckett Pennycuick, ESQ, on retirement as Treasurer of the Island of Ceylon. Privy Council. 1901 Sir John Winfield Bonser, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Ceylon. Knight Bachelor. 1901 Archibald Campbell Lawrie, ESQ, on retirement as Senior Queen Justice of the Supreme Court, Ceylon. Equals 1902 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1902 Lieutenant Colonel Arthur Craigie Fitzhardinge Vincent, Commandant of Volunteers in the Island of Ceylon. Equals 1903 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1903 Herbert Wace, ESQ, Government Agent of the Central Province of the Island of Ceylon. Equals 1906 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1906 Henry Leighton Crawford, ESQ, Government Agent, Southern Province, Island of Ceylon. Equals 1908 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1908 Philip David Warren, ESQ, Surveyor General of the Island of Ceylon. Equals 1909 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George. Knight Commander. KCMG. 1909 Hugh Charles Clearford, ESQ, C.M.G., Colonial Secretary of the Island of Ceylon. 1910s equals 1911 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1911 John Henry Lewis, ESQ, M.A., late Government Agent for the Central Province of the Island of Ceylon. Equals 1913 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1913 John George Fraser, ESQ, Acting Government Agent, Western Province, Island of Ceylon. 1913 Leonard William Booth, ESQ, Acting Colonial Secretary of the Island of Ceylon. Equals 1914 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1914 William Henry Jackson, ESQ, lately Controller of Revenue of the Island of Ceylon. 1914 Reginald Edward Stubbs, ESQ, Colonial Secretary of the Island of Ceylon. Equals 1916 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1916 Bernard Sr., ESQ, I.S.O., Treasurer of the Island of Ceylon. Equals 1919 equals Order of the British Empire. Commander. CBE, Civil Division. 1919 Henry Lawson de Mel, Industrialist and Philanthropist. 1920s equals 1920 equals King's Police Medal, KPM. 1920 Herbert Laird Daubigan, Inspector General of Police, Ceylon, equals 1922 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George, Companion, CMG, 1922 Robert Bailey Hellings, Government Agent, Southern Province, Island of Ceylon, equals 1923 equals Knight Bachelor, 1923 Hilarion Marcus Fernando, MD, Member of the Executive Council of Ceylon and nominated unofficial member of the Legislative Council of Ceylon, Order of the British Empire, Commander, CBE, Civil Division, 1923 Honorary Colonel Edward James Hayward, VD, formerly Officer Commanding Ceylon Garrison Artillery, Officer, OBE, Civil Division, 1923 Edwin Evans, Assistant Director of Education, Ceylon, in recognition of his services to education, Member, MBE, Civil Division, 1923 Nevans Selvadurai, Principal of the Jaffna Hindu College, Jaffna, Ceylon, in recognition of his services to education, 1923 Sinnathamby Welleden, Chief Inspector, Vernacular Schools, Ceylon, in recognition of his services to education, equals 1925 equals Order of the British Empire, Knight Commander, KBE, Civil Division, 1925 James Pearies, JP, Vice President of the Legislative Council of Ceylon, equals 1929 equals Order of the British Empire, Commander, CBE, Civil Division, 1929 Thomas Edward Dutton, General Manager, Government Railway, Ceylon, Officer, OBE, Civil Division, 1929 Lewis Edmund Blaze, Founder and Principal of Kingswood College, Kandy, in recognition of his services to education, Member, MBE, Civil Division, 1929 Patana Henadij Warnadipthia Curricula Surya Celestina Rodrigo Diaz, for charitable services in Ceylon, 1929 Evelyn Stores Carney, for child welfare work in the north-central province of Ceylon, 1930s, equals 1931 equals Knight Bachelor, 1931 Chevalier Henry Lawson de Mel, CBE, Member of the Legislative Council of Ceylon, Public and Philanthropic Services in Ceylon, equals 1932 equals Knight Bachelor, 1932 Thomas Martland Ainscough, CBE, His Majesty's Senior Trade Commissioner in India and Ceylon, Order of St. Michael and St. George, Companion, CMG, 1932 Major John William Oldfield, OBE, nominated Member of the State Council, Island of Ceylon, for public services, Order of the British Empire, Officer, OBE, Civil Division, 1932 C. Mampalai Francis Chelapar, Senior Medical Officer of Health, Ceylon, Member, MBE, Civil Division, 1932 Sissy Corre, for Social Welfare Services in Ceylon, 1932 Peter Debreu, for Services to Education in Ceylon, Imperial Service Order, Companion, ISO, 1932 Lionel Bastian Pulai Emmanuel, Office Assistant to the Director of Public Works, Ceylon, equals 1935 equals Knight Bachelor, 1935 Thomas Forrest Garvin, ESQ, lately Senior Queen Judge, Ceylon, equals 1936 equals Order of St. Michael and St. George, Companion, CMG, 1936 Harold James Huxham, Colonial Administrative Service, Financial Secretary, Ceylon, Order of the British Empire, Commander, CBE, Military Division, 1936 Lieutenant Colonel Percy John Parsons, ed. Officer Commanding Ceylon Garrison Artillery, Ceylon Defence Force, Officer, OBE, Civil Division, 1936 Ernest Wilfred Head, lately General Manager of the Government Railway, Ceylon. 1936 William Johnson Thornhill, Mintche, lately Director of Public Works, Ceylon. Member, MBE, Civil Division. 1936 Hilda Folk, DSc, for Social Services in Ceylon. 1936 Gerald Percival Kuhnman, for Public Services in Ceylon. 1938 Knight Bachelor. 1938 Mohammed Makan Marka, for Public Services in Ceylon. Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1938 Ralph Marcus Meeburn Vertley, MC, Colonial Administrative Service, Officer of Class 1, Ceylon Civil Service, Order of the British Empire, Officer, OBE, Military Division. 1938 Lieutenant Colonel Waldo Sansoni, VD, Officer Commanding, Ceylon Light Infantry, Civil Division. 1938 Isabella Hardy Kerr, MBE LRCP LRCS, in charge of the MacLeod Hospital for Women at Innerville, near Jaffna, Ceylon. 1938 Alan Morley Spa, Relief Works Officer, Ceylon. Member, MBE, Military Division. 1938 Warrant Officer, Class 2, Regimental Quartermaster Sergeant, Harold Collingwood Bain, Ceylon Army Service Corps. 1938 Warrant Officer, Class 1, Regimental Sergeant Major, George Noah David, Ceylon Medical Corps, Kaiser I Hind Medal. 1938 The Reverend John Sterling Morley Hooper, General Secretary of the Bible Society for India and Ceylon, Central Provinces and Beira, = 1939 = Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1939 Guy Stanley Woderman, Colonial Administrative Service, Deputy Chief Secretary, Ceylon. Order of the British Empire. Commander. CBE. Military Division. 1939 Arthur Marcels de Silva, FRCSLRCP, Senior Surgeon, General Hospital, Ceylon. Officer, OBE, Civil Division. 1939 Amembal Vittal Pai, Indian Civil Service, Agent of the Government of India in Ceylon. 1939 Abraham Christopher Gregory Shorarach Chiama Rasekara, for Services to Art in Ceylon. Member, MBE, Military Division. 1939 Lieutenant Henry Melville Cadman, Ceylon Planters Rifle Corps, Ceylon Defence Force. 1939 Alice Elizabeth Kotalawala, for Social Services in Ceylon. 1939 Ramanath Shivan Yanam, for Public Services in Ceylon. Imperial Service Order. Companion. ISO. 1939 Charles Vincent Gunaratna, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Ceylon. 1939 Joachim Joseph Jacob, Deputy Auditor General, Ceylon. 1939 Amnashalam Visvanadhan, Extra Office Assistant, Ceylon Civil Service, Colonial Police Medal. 1939 Haparagamuaj Thomas Pearies, Sergeant of Police, Ceylon. 1940s, = 1941 = Order of St. Michael and St. George, Knight Grand Cross, GCMG. 1941 Sir Andrew Caldecott, KCMG CBE, Governor and Commander-in-Chief of the Island of Ceylon. Companion. CMG. 1941 Charles Henry Collins, Colonial Administrative Service, Deputy Chief Secretary, Ceylon. Order of the British Empire. Officer, OBE, Civil Division. 1941 Sissi Kore, MBE, for Social Services in Ceylon. Member, MBE, Civil Division. 1941 Durayappa Rajaratnam, for Social Services in Ceylon. Imperial Service Order. Companion. ISO. 1941 William Theodore Lewes, office assistant to the chief secretary, Ceylon. 1941 Mudilia Sinatampi Valapuram, assistant settlement officer, Ceylon. 1942 Order of St. Michael and St. George, companion, CMG. 1942 Robert Harry Drayton, Colonial Legal Service, Chief Secretary, Ceylon. Order of the British Empire, Commander, CBE, Civil Division. 1942 Lionel McDowell Robertson, Colonial Education Service, Director of Education, Ceylon. Order of the British Empire, Officer, OBE, Military Division. 1942 Lieutenant Colonel John Victor Collins, ed. Ceylon Garrison Artillery, Civil Division. 1942 James Mervyn Fonseca, Legal Draftsman, Ceylon. Member, MBE, Military Division. 1942 Major Neil Shirkman, ed. Ceylon Engineers, Civil Division. 1942 Mary Olive Marjorie Carter, Principal, School for Deaf and Blind, Ceylon. 1942 The Reverend Clarence Ebenezer Victor Nathaniel S.Z., Charity Commissioner, Public Assistance Department, Colombo Municipality, Ceylon. 1942 Donald Abaya Secretary for Public Services in Ceylon, Imperial Service Order, Companion, ISO. 1942 Harold Peters William Melder, Office Assistant, Matale Ket Cherry, Ceylon. 1942 James Cyril Wyakun, Assistant Director of Education, Ceylon. 1946 Order of St. Michael and St. George, Companion, CMG. 1946 Pikiazethisa Ravanamarchu, Ceylonese civil servant, declined. 1950s 1951 Knight Bachelor. 1951 Chittampalam Abraham Gardiner, Senator. 1951 The Honourable Edward George Pereira J. Etterleek, K.C., Chief Justice of Ceylon. 1951 Uquat Akhrij Jayasundara, CBE-KC, Senator. 1951 Razik Farid, OBE, Senator. Order of St. Michael and St. George, Companion, CMG. 1951 Oswald Leslie de Crazer II, for Public Services, lately Queen Justice. 1951 Hethu Muniadras de Silva, District Judge, Colombo. 1951 Ralph Henry Bassett, CBE, lately Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Industries, Industrial Research and Fisheries. 1951 Henry William Howes, OBE Ph.D., Director of Education, Order of the British Empire, Commander, CBE, Military Division. 1951 Brigadier the Right Honourable James Roderick, Earl of Caithness, DSO, Commander-in-Chief, Ceylon Army, Civil Division. 1951 J. N. Arumugam, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport and Works. 1951 Abdon Ignatius Pereira, OBE, Postmaster General and Director of Telecommunications. 1951 Alice Elizabeth Kotelawala, MBE, for Social Work and Services to Rural Development. 1951 Sidney Arnold Pakeman, OBE MC Ed. Member of Parliament, previously Professor of Modern History and Economics, Ceylon University College, Officer, OBE, Civil Division. 1951 Surya Kumara Nichinga Senatira Harambalavanna Naganatha Thandagai Kanagana Yagam, JP, Head Shroff, National Bank of India, Limited, Kandy. 1951 Don Samdu Simon, LMS LRCP and SLRFP and S. Medical Superintendent, Leprosy Hospital, Hendala. 1951 David Shillingford Painter, for Public and Social Services, 1951 Conrad Boniface Peter Perara, Acting Settlement Officer, Land Settlement Department. 1951 Don William Rajapatarana, Commissioner of Income Tax, Estate Duty and Stamps. 1951 Sinnathambi Subramanian, LMS LRCP and SLRFP&S, for Medical and Social Services. 1951 Nandasara Wijetalakarachu Korala, MBE, Secretary to the Prime Minister. 1951 Surya Kamara Wanizing Hay Punchi Bada Bulankulami, MBE MP, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Agriculture and Lands. 1951 Gerald Samuel William Dusaram, LMS MBBS MRCS LRCP, lately Judicial Medical Officer, Colombo. 1951 Warusa Henadij Leo Fernando, Member of Parliament for Butler. 1951 Paul Alfred John Hernu, Chairman, Colombo Port Commission. 1951 Oswald Philip Rust, Managing Director, Darley Butler & Co., Limited, for services to the Tea Commissioner. Member, MBE, Military Division. 1951 Major Terence Richard Jansen, Ed LMS LRCP and SLRFP&S, Ceylon Medical Corps. 1951 Captain, Quartermaster, Harold Arastupinio Vantwest, Ed. Ceylon Volunteer Force. 1951 Captain, Quartermaster, Edward Charles Young, Ed. 2nd, Volunteer, Coast Artillery Regiment, Ceylon Artillery. 1951 Regimental Sergeant Major Rothschild Henry Salvador, 2nd, Volunteer, Battalion, Ceylon Light Infantry, Civil Division. 1951 Dinsha Ferrad Shah Billy Moria, for Public Services. 1951 Somadeva Kasinathan, lately Rubber Commissioner and Rubber Controller. 1951 Mandawala Gamara Per Melaj Gunasekera, for Public and Social Services. 1951 Muhammad Ismail, Sergeant-at-Arms, House of Representatives. 1951 Thanahandi David Mendes, for services to transport. 1951 Ahmado Kassim Mahamado, J.P., Proctor and Notary, Colombo. 1951 Swaminatha Patanjali, for public services in Jaffna. 1951 Aruwala Jyotij Simon Pereira, for public and charitable services. 1951 Victor Garvan Weerawardena Ratna Yarket, Member of Parliament for Denyaya. 1951 Abdul Rahman Muhammad Stasim, for public services in Gaul. 1951 Joseph Nicholas Cecil Tiru Shelvam, J.P., City Coroner. 1951 Oliver Weerasinghe, FRIBA, Government Town Planner. 1951 John Arthur Amaratung, Member, Galoya Development Board. 1951 Modestis Fernando Chandraratna, Ph.D., Botanist and Senior Agricultural Research Officer, Department of Agriculture. 1951 Raja Karuna Wainagasekara Mudirizalaj UKKU Banda Dedagama, Rate Mahatmaya, Chief Headman, Belegal Karal, Kegal District. 1951 Danusha Kara Bandara Elapola, Acting Director, Rural Development. 1951 Kristaguan Fernandapul, for Public and Social Services in Chilor District. 1951 Danu Willaj Dera Haramanis J. Wikream, for Public and Social Services in Kandy. 1951 Roger Colin Kerr, Chairman, Tok H Club, Colombo. 1951 Abhay Ratna Kuda Leonard Ratwat, Shroff, Mercantile Bank, Kandy. 1951 William Florista Alwas Senaviratna, for Public Services in the Kalutara District. 1951 Samuel Mothervalo Tambi Raja, for Public and Social Services in Matale District. 1951 Reginald Hugh Wickramasinghe, Controller of Establishments. 1951 John Wilson. Proctor of the Supreme Court. 1951 John Richard Wilson. MD/BSMRCSLRCP. Visiting Physician. Tuberculosis Hospital. Wellisara. And Consultant to the Chest Hospital. Regama. Imperial Service Order. Companion. ISO. 1951 James Ernest Victor Pearies. Lately Headmaster. Royal College. 1951 J. Akari Yawasangela Wishes Leon Pereira Wijwardine. Drawing Office Assistant. Public Works Department. King's Police and Fire Services Medal. 1951 William Thomas Brindley. Deputy Inspector General of Police. 1952 Knight Bachelor. 1952 V. Kumaraswamy CMG. Deputy High Commissioner for Ceylon in the United Kingdom. 1952 Lalita Abaya Rajapakse KC. Minister of Justice. 1952 Pauls Edward Pires de Ranyagala. CMG. For Social Services in Colombo. Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1952 Edward Frederick Noel Gracier NKC. Queen Judge of the Supreme Court. 1952 William Arthur Edward Karunaratne OBE. Professor of Pathology. University of Ceylon. Order of the British Empire. Knight Commander. KBE. Civil Division. 1952 George Claude Stanley Correa. Ambassador for Ceylon in the United States of America. Commander. CBE. Civil Division. 1952 James Aubrey Martins. High Commissioner for Ceylon in Australia. 1952 Kenneth Morford. Manager. Mount Vernon Estate. Kotagala. For services to the tea industry. 1952 Senarath Paranavithana OBE. Archaeological Commissioner. 1952 David Frederick Ewan. For Public and Commercial Services. 1952 Raja Huavitan. OBE. Minister of Labour, Industry and Commerce. 1952 Edward Wilmot Kanangara. OBE. Lately Permanent Secretary. Ministry of Health and Local Government. Officer. OBE. Civil Division. 1952 Kirban Hughes and Adam Ali. For Public and Commercial Services. 1952 Oliver Gerard Dalwis. For Social Services in Kalutara. 1952 Egodage Richard de Silva. Principal. Richmond College. Gaul. 1952 Warusa Henadij Daniel Fernando MBE. For Charitable and Commercial Services. 1952 Martin Arthur Wimala Gunasekera. Lately Proctor of the Supreme Court. 1952 Hugh Theodore Ross Lincock MP. For services to the export trade. 1952 Senai Parthij Theobald Philip Rodrigo. Senator. For social services in Colombo. 1952 Victor Emmanuel Pereira Senaviratna. Visiting Physician. General Hospital. Colombo. 1952 Raja Karuna Ekanayaki Wisala Mudayans Ralahamalaj UKKU Bandarunambuau. For agricultural services in Kotmail. 1952 Lloyd Oscar Abayaratna. MRCP. LMS. Medical Officer. Hospital for Women and Children. Colombo. 1952 Edmund Joseph Corey. Commissioner of Cooperative Development. 1952 Elizabeth Eleanor de Zoysa Gunetalaki Rajapakse Gunasekera. MBE. For Social Services. 1952 Mahapitiajvelan Peter Pearies. LRCP. FRCS. Visiting Surgeon. General Hospital. Colombo. 1952 Herman Eric Paris. MBE. Acting Deputy Secretary. Treasury. Member. MBE. Military Division. 1952 Major Harold Bracker. Royal Army Ordnance Corps. Civil Division. 1952 Manar Mara College Venetius Edward Peter Cora. Chairman of the Town Council. Wadua. 1952 Alan Bertram Demar. Operating Superintendent. Ceylon Government Railway. 1952 Miraqudi Muhammad Ibrahim MP. For public service in Potterville. 1952 Wilfred Gunnar Sekera. Proctor. Matara. 1952 Don Johannes Kumaraj. Principal. Rahula College. Matara. 1952 Lionel William Rachuate Karupu. Chairman. Panajira and Talpati Badas Village Committee. 1952 Segu Ismail Leb Marika Abdul Kafur Marika Hajiyar. For social service in Kalutara. 1952 Banu Nurachidij Don Rampala. Chief Mechanical Engineer. Ceylon Government Railway. 1952 Margaret Jane Rind Reed. For social services. 1952 V. Veerasingham. Lately Principal. Manapay Hindu College. Manapay. 1952 Ramalingam Shivaguru Natha. Proctor and Notary. Jaffna. 1952 Elsie Ethel Winifred Solomons. District Inspector of Schools. Western Province. 1952 Robert Ulhagazagaram Buell. President. Association of YMCA. Secretaries of India, Pakistan and Ceylon. 1952 Edmund Frederick Lawrence de Silva. Proctor of the Supreme Court. For social services in Kandy. 1952 Justin Elian Fernando. LMS. Medical Practitioner. Colombo. 1952 Gladwin Conrad Herman Kotalorela. Member of the Urban Council. Badulla. For social services in UVA Province. 1952 Edley Winston Matthew. Member of the House of Representatives for Balangada. 1952 Wani Dan Relage Don Paulis Perara. Principal. Lorenz College. Colombo. 1952 Varavanatha Ponim Balam. For services to the cooperative movement in Jaffna. 1952 David Wayne Agasekeri. For social services in Matara. Imperial Service Order. Companion. ISO. 1952 Maurice Leonard Class. Salt Superintendent. Industries Department. King's Police and Fire Services Medal for Distinguished Service. 1952 Errol Alexander Coemire MBE. Superintendent of Police. Criminal Investigation Department. 1953 Order of St. Michael and St. George. Companion. CMG. 1953 Ralph Norman Bond. ESQ. O.B.E. Permanent Secretary. Ministry of Posts and Information. Order of the British Empire. Knight Commander. KBE. Civil Division. 1953 His Excellency Edwin Aloysius Pereira Wijayaratna. High Commissioner for Ceylon in the United Kingdom. Commander. CBE. Civil Division. 1953 Warusa Henadij Leo Fernando. ESQ. O.B.E. Member of Parliament for Butler. 1953 Warusa Henadij Abraham Bastian Bennett Soiza. ESQ. M.B.E. Senator. Officer. OBE. Civil Division. 1953 Simon Reginald Gunyuadine. ESQ. M.R.C.S.L.R.C.P. Medical Superintendent. State Home for the Aged. Kogala. 1953 Markandu Kanagazabe. ESQ. General Manager. Ceylon Government Railway. 1953 Edwin Mendes Karunaratna. ESQ. Proctor. For Social Services in Gaul District. 1953 Sangarapalli Selamachu. ESQ. Member. Colombo Municipal Council. 1953 Sabapadipalai Albert Selvanayagam. ESQ. M.B.E. Member. Batacaloa Urban Council. 1953 Charles Francis Whitaker. ESQ. Lately Secretary. Chamber of Commerce. 1953 Chandra Dasa Wijasinghe, ESQ, planter, for social services in the Southern Province. 1953 Basil Henry William, ESQ, Managing Director, High Level Road Bus Company Limited. Member, MBE, Military Division. 1953 Lieutenant Commander, S. Kenneth Maitland Martinus, Royal Ceylon Navy. 1953 Major Roy Douglas J. Etterleek, Ceylon Army, Civil Division. 1953 Ella Marjorie, Mrs. Atkinson, for services to the encouragement of dancing. 1953 A. Arul Piragasam, ESQ, Registrar General. 1953 Lucien Noel Bartholomew, ESQ, F. R. C. S. Visiting Sergeant, General Hospital, Colombo. 1953 Alhaj Muhammad Pervez Drayamin, ESQ, Medical Practitioner, for services to the Malay community. 1953 Peter Frederick Halwis Gunetalika, ESQ, Proctor, for services to the cooperative movement. 1953 Sago Sadirajaya Wikrama, ESQ, for services to cricket. 1953 Don Wilfred Richard Kahawita, ESQ, Designs Engineer in Charge, Designs and Research Sections, Irrigation Department. 1953 Wimala Irene, Mrs. Kanangara, District Representative, Kigala District, Lankamal Hilla Samiti Movement. 1953 George Keat, ESQ, Artist. 1953 Vitarana Simon Nalayakara, ESQ, Assistant Municipal Treasurer, Colombo, Municipal Council. 1953 Edward Ashley Paris, ESQ, Crown Proctor, Kigala. 1953 Wasala Bandarin Ayake Herat Mudayans Rala Amilaj Tiki Ribanda Pooli Yad, ESQ, Member of Parliament for Horawu Potana. 1953 A. B. Rajendra, ESQ, Senator. 1953 M. Srikantha, ESQ, Director, Land Development Department. 1954 Viscount. 1954 The Right Honourable Herwold, Baron Solbury, GCMG, GCVO, OBE, MC, Governor-General of Ceylon, Knight Bachelor. 1954 Warusa Hennedy Jabraham Bastian Bennett Soiza, ESQ, CBE, Senator, for Social Services, Order of St. Michael and St. George, Companion, CMG. 1954 Gunnar de Soiza, OBE, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defence and External Affairs, Order of the British Empire, Knight Commander, KBE, Civil Division. 1954 The Honourable Kalutara Vedaj Deepal Susanth de Fonseca, Statesman and Ambassador. 1954 The Honourable Patia Patirana Halaj Albert Frederick Paris, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Commander, CBE, Civil Division. 1954 Alexander Nicholas Dalbrewer Bayasinghe, MBE, Member of Parliament for Negombo, for services to the cooperative movement. 1954 Ernest Peter Arnold Fernando, for social services. 1954 Paul Alfred John Hernu, OBE, Chairman, Colombo Port Commission. 1954 H. de Z. Cyril Udana, Parliamentary Secretary, Ministry of Home Affairs, Officer, OBE, Military Division. 1954 Lieutenant Colonel Herbert Clifford Serasinghe, ed. Ceylon Army Medical Corps, Civil Division. 1954 A. Arul Piragasam, MBE, Government Agent, Northwestern Province. 1954 Homi from G. Billamoria, MBE, Chief Architect, Public Works Department. 1954 Jayasuriya Arachi Jedward Matthew Dusaram, MBE. For Social Services. 1954 Santiago Wilson de Silva, MBE. Deputy Inspector General of Police. 1954 James Lamb, Director, T Research Institute of Ceylon. 1954 Pararajasingham Nadasan, Director of Civil Aviation and Additional Secretary to the Prime Minister. 1954 Hanwedij Henry Oliver Waitson Peries. For Services to Commerce. 1954 John Marcus Senaveratna, MBE. For Services to the Study of the History of Ceylon. 1954 G. P. Tambaya, Government Agent, Western Province. Member, MBE. Military Division. 1954 Major Bertram Lucian Senaviratna, Ceylon Light Infantry, Civil Division. 1954 Cyril Herbert Soria Erachchi Amarasekera, Flying Instructor, Civil Aviation Department. 1954 Don Edmund Amarasekera, Chairman, Village Committee, Udagaha Pachu, Kalutara District. 1954 Leon Louis Atigal, Municipal Treasurer, Colombo Municipality. 1954 Mohammed Falal Abdul Kafur. For Services to Commerce. 1954 Gerald Henry Corey, MD, MRCS, Professor of Pathology, University of Ceylon. 1954 Neville Joseph Louis Jantz, Assistant Secretary, Ministry of Defense and External Affairs. 1954 Don Edward Victor Wanarachchij Jayaman, actor and producer. 1954 Don Timothy John Jayasinghe. For Services to Commerce. 1954 Walatara Akarij David Silva Karunaratna. For Charitable Services. 1954 Nobel Irene Kiriella. For Social Services. 1954 G. H. P. Leembruggen, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Traffic. 1954 Sally Boy Hussein Boy Masaji. For Services to Commerce. 1954 Anton Wickramasinghe. For Services to Commerce. 1954 Sarah Lawrencina Wijazinghe. For Charitable Services. British Empire Medal, Civil Division. 1954 Jayalath Yakalamuliji Bertu Silva, Electrical Foreman, Department of Government Electrical Undertakings. 1954 Fitzroy Valentine Pinto Jaya Wardina, Acting Chief Welfare Officer, Ministry of Transport and Works. 1954 Murugupalai Naverat Nasami, Agricultural Instructor, Department of Agriculture. 1955 Knight Bachelor. 1955 The Honorable Cyril de Zoysa, President of the Senate. 1955 Ernest Peter Arnold Fernando, CBE. For Public Services. 1955 S. Pararajasingham. For Services to Agriculture. Order of St. Michael and St. George. Knight Commander. KCMG. 1955 Sayukwat Akarij Jaya Sundara, KBE, QC. For Political and Public Services. 1955 The Honourable Sir Alan Edward Percival Rose, QC, Chief Justice, Companion, CMG. 1955 Edmund Joseph Corey, OBE, Chairman, Cooperative Wholesale Establishment, Order of the British Empire. Commander, CBE, Civil Division. 1955 Surya Kumara Nichinga Senatira Harambala Vananaganatha Thandagai Kanagana Yagam, OBE. For Public Services. 1955 Victor Manuel de Mel. For Services to Commerce. 1955 Adelan, Lady Molamya, OBE. Deputy President of the Senate. Officer, OBE. Military Division. 1955 Commander Adalbert Vance Fruganya, VRD, Royal Ceylon Volunteer Naval Force. 1955 Lieutenant Colonel Rasanayagam Sabanayagam, MBE, ed. Ceylon Cadet Corps, Civil Division. 1955 The Reverend James Cartman, Education Officer, Office of the Ceylon High Commissioner in London. 1955 Huanana Rachchi Jivantidi Dasarniki, Member of Parliament for Waryapola, for Political Services. 1955 Theodore Alexander Dunuwil, Crown Advocate, Kandy. 1955 Douglas Street, Clive Budyanze, Acting Solicitor General. 1955 Nanayakarachalagamage Stephen de Silva Jaya Singh, Member of Parliament for Welawak Alkisa, for Political Services. 1955 Ramachandran Alahupalai Nardazan, for Public Services. 1955 Kanahala Bandaralij Lawrence Perara, for Services to Transport. 1955 M. Srikantha, MBE, Government Agent, Northern Province. 1955 Abdul Rahuman Mefamed Stasim, MBE, for Public Services in Gaul, Member, MBE, Military Division. 1955 Captain Cedar Felix Fernando, Ceylon Artillery. 1955 Captain W. Ramanasariya Patabendij Jinadaza Silva, Ceylon Army, Civil Division. 1955 Etheldo Kraser, Matron, Central Hospital. 1955 Walter Harris de Kraser, for Services to Commerce. 1955 Talp Gamagay Bernard de Silva, Government Printer. 1955 Debraman Dowdij Jason Fernando, Managing Director, Jason Fernando and Sons Limited. 1955 Oliver Phoenix Charles Baden Powell Forbes, Deputy Controller of Establishments, General Treasury. 1955 Jack McLennan Godefroy, Assistant Manager, Firestone, Ceylon Limited, Colombo. 1955 Maganlil Cubadas Capadia, for Services to Commerce. 1955 Joaquim Rosario Machado, for Services to Commerce. 1955 Karthagasu Nardazan, Chief, Guarantee, Shroff, Indian Overseas Bank Limited, Colombo. 1955 Sundaram Pathmanathan, Shroff, Imperial Bank of India Limited, Colombo. 1955 Titus Walter Perara, for Political Services. 1955 Madhya Pillai Rajendram, for Services to Commerce. 1955 Donald Yasen Ranawira, for Public Services. 1955 David Robert Waller, Manager, Building and Construction Department, Walker Sons and Company Limited, Colombo. 1955 Don Frederick Wijenarajana, for Public Services in Gaul, Imperial Service Order, Companion, ISO. 1955 Edgar Alexander van der Straten, Shipping Master, Customs Department, British Empire Medal, Civil Division. 1955 Malcolm Hujaya Sekhera, Sub-Inspector, Ceylon Police Force. 1955 Daniel Sepler Senaviratna Jaya Tilake, Officer in Charge, Police Central Garage. 1955 Vidana Ratchalij Peterlinus Jaya Wardina, Stenographer, Higher Grade, Department of the Prime Minister. 1955 Edmund Henry Vernon Joseph, Chief Clerk, Cabinet Office, equals 1956 equals Order of the British Empire, Officer, OBE, Civil Division. 1956 Dudley Atherton Wilson, until recently Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Joseph Fraser Memorial Nursing Home, Colombo, Ceylon. See also Sri Lankan Honours System.